What's up, AFTERBUZZers? We're back here for season 4, episode 21 of Botched. We have some beach balls. We have some space elves. We have the breast messiah, and we're also later on in the episode going to be talking about all things filler related and so much more. So stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
So happy to be back, guys. We're dancing in studio for our iTunes listeners.
Yes.
We love Thursdays because Thursdays it's Botch Day.
Yes.
I'm your host, Juliet. Welcome back. So freaking pumped to be here. How are you doing, Nycole?
I'm doing great. We're here after the holidays, and I'm so great. And by the way, I love this song. It really makes me think about my ex. Just had to put that out there.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
It's empowering.
It's super empowering. We chose this song because I felt like it stuck with a theme. A lot of people had, their personalities, and they weren't ashamed of certain things. One of those being Luis, the space elf. He was very he was just confident about what he wanted, and he was unapologetic. And I think that this song expresses just being unapologetic. And I think that, maybe we can learn a thing or two from him. But we're going to discuss that later and so much more. We're also going to be discussing Stacy with her smashed and batched nose. We're going to be talking about how the doctors actually got filler on camera, which I thought was super interesting. Abigail Fraher was going to be joining us later on in the episode, and she's our beauty expert, and she knows all about the filler life because she works in a medical spa. So a bunch of questions for her. If you guys have any questions as well, make sure to tune into our live chat on YouTube. And finally, then we're going to later on talk about some disobedient breasts.
Disobedient breasts. Yes.
Thank you for that. So much to discuss. But before we go too in depth, just tell me what you're thinking about this, overall thoughts on this episode.
Well, first of all, I have to say that Botch never disappoints with the weirdos that come on the show. I'm sorry. I have to give them a gold star for casting the weirdos, or people who are out of this world, as I like to say. It was a lot going on in this episode, but nonetheless, very entertaining as normal.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I would love maybe this is more too inside industry for you, but just what goes on into those casting rooms, those meetings.
Yeah.
Like every year in every episode they have to top it, and I don't know how they find these people, but they do, and I freaking love it. Yes. So talking about the weirdos, to each their own, but let's talk about Luis, because I feel like he was just honestly a super interesting character. I had never seen anyone that looks like him. Had you?
Yes. No, I haven't. When I saw him on the episode, I'm like, wow. Dr. Dubrow said, he's really out of this world. This is probably the most out of world, I like to call him a character, really, but patient that they've had. And while he was confident, I actually felt like he was a little too obsessed with his fantasy. He has this fantasy of being a space elf, I think is what he called it. I've never heard anything like that before. I can't comprehend that. But he really believes that this is the dream that he wants to fulfill, and he will stop at nothing to fulfill that dream.
Yeah, he was something. He had those fake ears, those fake contacts, but he's actually has had laser in his eyes in India to change the color because he dreams to have purple eyes. Mm-hmm. And as we come to find out, as soon as I heard that, I'm like, oh, that sounds kind of dangerous. And the doctors confirm that it's very dangerous. You are risking your sight.
Yes.
Which is such for aesthetics.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's an interesting paradox, right? Where it's like you're risking to have a certain aesthetic that you might not be able to see because of what you're doing.
Right, and he's willing to risk it all. He said it in the episode. I'm willing to go blind, without risk, there's no gain, I guess was his whole logic. So I can't. I'm sorry. I can't with this.
I know
guy.
It was
too
a little
much. You can't be that serious.
Yeah, it was a little much, but he was something. I'm telling you. And he came in and he talked to the doctors, and as they're having this consultation, it also seemed to me that he wasn't too sure what he wanted done, because he was talking about his ears, then his face, then his eyes.
Right.
for me, it was one of those characters where it's like, oh, he just kind of there. Is he really hoping he's gonna go into surgery?
I like, honestly, I think he was really hopeful that he was gonna go into surgery. I mean, honestly, if he could have gotten everything done at once, I think he would have.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then the doctors during the consultation, when he was pinching his nose, like even smaller, he was like, you realize this is how you would be breathing if you decide to go through with this, and it's like he was hesitant, like, I would probably be willing to not breathe in order to accomplish this goal. Like, it's just, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I had lots of opinions about this character. You know who I think has a lot of opinions for this character?
Yes.
Our very own Abby.
I literally was like, I walked in at the perfect time. How are you guys?
Good. Welcome
Good
to
to
the
see
show.
Thank you.
I have to ask you, so what were your thoughts about Luis and his space alien? No, his elf alien.
Yes.
Honestly, at first I was like this guy needs some help. Like I wanted to know like his psychological history. Has he been committed? Like what's been the deal going on? But then when I saw he went to like the little like I didn't even know what it was, elf
Like convention.
Yeah,
or something.
convention.
but it was
or
like a
something.
convention of 3 people, but still there's 3 other people in the world that think like you. But I feel like what was weird to me is even the girl who's supposedly, an elf was like, yo, you're good the way you are. Like, you know what I mean? It was weird. I felt like she was almost grounded in reality, and maybe this is something that she just kind of like enjoys. Like, people do this like night things where they fight and stuff.
Right.
Maybe it's something like that, but even she was like, I think you should keep your ears like the way they are. Like, he really wants. It was a lot. For
Yeah,
me.
I could
feel
tell
like-
she was trying to be nice about it
Yeah.
too. Like, okay, how do I say this without offending him and making him feel bad? Because he's
Right.
really adamant about getting this done.
He's one of those people
yeah.
I feel like really. Normally, they get on my nerves. I'm like, oh my God, they're so extra. I feel like he really actually has some mental instability because he really believed. He's like, well, I'm an elf now and space elves. I'm like,
What?
what is going? It was a lot.
Yeah,
a
it
lot
was.
for me.
And going back to what you're saying that his friend, it seemed that she kind of had an understanding that it was a character and it was like a
game.
hobby and a game, as you're saying, and that he wants this to be his life. He wants to have those crazy eyes, and he wants to be that person.
Right.
Do we know what he does for work? Did
Why
they
would
say?
I was just
Okay.
about to
He's
ask
like,
the
this is the
same
costume.
question
And I'm
because
like,
I was like, who does he really walk
Right.
into an employer and is like, hey, I'm a space alien, hire me? Like, I don't.
Right.
Yeah, that is an interesting point. I wish they kind of dug that up because I don't know how people like that make money. Maybe there's a way to make money off of who you are, like as a famous.
Maybe
and-
the Guinness Book of World
That doesn't
weirdest
pay.
world. No, that doesn't. Oh, my
If it
bad.
paid, trust me, I would find something. I don't know though. Like what?
I thought they did pay for that, like the
They
museum.
do, but like not like
not like
sustainable.
sustainable.
You know?
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I don't. I don't know. I want to know what he does though. I really do.
Yeah, we got to
'Cause
research that.
Yeah,
like
he was.
Maybe he dresses up and works at like a theme park or something.
that would maybe.
That's a good. You know what? Maybe we'll get you as his
not
manager.
scary,
right?
not scary farm during Halloween. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah, well, one of the points that the doctors really hammered home was that it just isn't a good idea. Whatever he wants to get done to his eyes, especially even his nose, is not a smart idea. And even Dr. Nassif was saying, as medical professionals, it's our duty to really hammer that home and make sure he understands the risk and how this is not a good idea. And one of the ways that they do that is by pinching his nose and saying, if you want it this like thin, you cannot breathe. Is this something you're willing to risk? What were your thoughts of you guys when they were pinching his nose that tight? Were you all about it, Abby, or were you like
All about it. You need to be realistic. Honestly, I think he was also like trying to just withhold his like disgust or anger for the situation because it's like there really are people out there that need their help, and you're almost wasting precious, valuable time with your dreams
right?
that aren't even grounded in reality.
keyword dreams.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
That's gonna stay a dream.
Right? It's going to stay a dream. And it's just what honestly disturbed me is just the fact that when he was trying to center this character, I like to call him, it's just like, okay, this is how you, if we perform the surgery, this is how you would breathe. And it's like he hesitated, like, maybe I could do this. Maybe that really disturbed me.
You almost were like, yo, you're down to not breathe?
Yeah.
To have a thin nose?
Well, what I was saying earlier,
Or
too,
be blind?
Be blind.
Right, or be blind.
Which
Yeah.
makes no sense because it's like you're doing these things to aesthetically change your
Right,
appearance. So
right.
then you can't see what you've done.
And you're just wasting a sense that you were like blessed to be born with. Some people aren't, and you're just throwing that away so casually to be a character. Like literally, he wants to be a character.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
It offended me a little.
It was a lot, but if I'm trying to see the positive, I do think
You're always trying to see the
But please,
positive.
yes.
Everything.
I do. What I did appreciate is that he was definitely at least on the surface level, did not seem insecure, and he kept on repeating that he didn't really care what people thought about him, and everything he was doing was for himself and his own pleasure. And I was like, you know what, I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that you have the confidence to not care what people have to say about your appearance. And that's something that I think we could all learn from.
Oh, totally.
Perhaps, yeah, but don't complain about the consequences that may follow in the long run. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree.
Which it appears he's aware of the consequences
I feel
that
like
he
he's
can
almost
face.
on the other spectrum of the scale of like, you know, super insecure people, and then like you're so secure. It's so weird because it's like you're so secure that you don't care what people think, but yet you're so insecure in being an elf that you need to get the work done. So it's almost like a weird collaboration of both, and I just don't. It made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, but see, I don't fully know what's going on there, to be honest with you. But listen, he didn't have the surgery, which I don't think many of us were really surprised about. That we didn't really think it was gonna come.
Right.
And again, as you're saying, Abigail, like it's not. The show is about helping people get a second chance at life, in a way, a second chance of walking through life with not a botched face or a botched body of some sort. So let's get into our other patients, because they all had like some crazy stories as well that were really moving.
They did.
We had some disobedient breasts, which I had never heard that expression. Had you, Nycole? What did
Never
you think
heard
about
that expression. I thought it was actually kind of cute. It was funny to me.
It
She called them
was.
disobedient breasts.
It was like, I don't know if that's even a thing. I
Right.
think it was just like a cute title, but it was a cute. Disobedient was like the perfect word.
Yeah.
For it.
She had she gained a lot of weight after giving birth, back to back, and then she lost all the weight because she started working out a lot, but then was left with a lot of tissue, and like that happens when you lose weight. You just have a lot of skin flapping. So she figured, I'm gonna go get my breast done, and she came back with definitely not what she had bargained for.
I'm sorry, you just said skin flapping, and I was picturing boobs. Just like
Right.
that was the best.
Or like she said, it was like someone
were
poked
flat,
a pin in her breast and they just deflated. That's how she described it. So I was just like, oh my gosh, just can't imagine.
Yeah,
I can imagine going through that. Sorry.
And it must be a little hard because you put in all the work to lose the weight and you're expecting these great results and you get them in a certain way, but then another aspect you're like, wow, my body's completely in a way deformed.
Right.
No one wants to have deflated breasts. That's no fun.
Right. And it's interesting when she was talking about her pregnancy and how her breasts became more full, and they were looking good, if I can say that. And then after you've lost all that weight and then just you lose the breast with it, I think that's a woman's worst fear, a pregnant woman's worst fear. Like she lost what she had before, and then I don't know.
Nursing, man, just don't know if I'm ever going to be able to actually commit to that fully, because it really, we are animals when it comes at the end of the day. Like you think of a cow's udder, like that is your breast. Like it's not a cosmetic enhancement. It's a lifeline. And that's, I don't know if I would ever, kudos to the people who do commit to it. I know it's really great for helping lose weight. Like you burn a lot of calories by breastfeeding. So it's almost like, a catch-22, like gonna lose the weight, but then you're also going to be set. It's just, I don't know. Yeah. It's a lot.
It is a lot, and she, she hung in there. But Dr. Dubrow and Dr. Nassif were really her last hope, and she wanted bigger breasts, and she just wanted to fix her whole situation. Right. I was so astonished. We've seen some crazy things on this show, but when they were in that consultation, when she was moving her arms and moving her breast around, I had never seen anything like that. That her implant could move that way and get stuck. What was your reaction when you were seeing that implant stuck?
I was uncomfortable. I just can't. And it almost, did they go over? I might be spacing out, but did they go over if it was under the muscle or over the muscle?
I think they said it was like, yeah, over the breast tissue that she had.
Okay.
The doctor placed it like literally over it. So it's, I should say on top of it. So the breast tissue is actually under the implant. So it's just like moving around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly, it made me feel, I closed my eyes a couple of times. I'm not going to lie. That's how uncomfortable it made me feel. And I don't know if it's just me. When you're seeing, surgeries, particularly when it comes to the breast, you feel like you kind of feel it almost subconsciously. And you're like, oh my gosh.
Or even like with the elf's ears, I was like, wait, of course I was eating breakfast. Like I'm always eating. It's like when I do everything. But it was just, it made me like queasy. I don't know why. It's just irregularities are uncomfortable.
They are.
I know. I mean, this episode was just so crazy, and that's why, I mean, I really urge you guys, listeners, to leave us some comments and tell us your thoughts, because even when the show wraps, we have so many thoughts, and we want to carry the conversations throughout the weeks. Here at the network, we produce after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows, from drama, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. And there's no network that really works as hard as we do to serve our television fans. But we do need your help. We're asking you to please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that it's tailor-made for you and will help you access AfterBuzz content and help us grow. If you're worried about like pesky notifications, like you don't want your phone blowing up all the time, don't worry about that. That's completely optional, so you can turn those off and not be bothered.
You does.
So hit that subscribe button for this channel, which is the reality channel. But also, again, if you love dramas, if you love any kind of show, just go subscribe to our network, because just so much content there. And let us know that you did, because we'll shout you out on a show, and that's pretty cool to have your name seen by the Botch panel. And thanks for being the best fans and helping us be the ESPN of TV talk. Again, that's why I'm so appreciative of AfterBuzz, because I get so excited to talk about all these people. So one thing that I thought was really cute too, with Leslie, with her beauty and breasts, is that she called Dr. Dubrow the Messiah of breast.
That was hilarious.
And then Dr. Nassif was like, "Does that make me the Moses of noses?" And I was just like, "What are these one-liners?"
I thought about you when because we talk about jokes on the show all the time, and it just made me think about you. Like, oh my gosh, what is she gonna think about this?
Yeah.
The Moses of noses.
I have like a soft spot for Dr. Nassif.
Okay, why is that?
He's just like actually, I love both of them. They're so likable, and like they can be corny all day long, and I'm okay with it. But it's like the other people, when they're corny, I'm like the judgmental, like evil human being. But when the doctors are, I'm like, they're so cute. I don't know.
Yeah, they're really cute, and they've been, I mean, doing the show for over 4
seasons. They're good at
seasons.
being corny too. It like works for them almost.
They have a great dynamic. They've been doing the show for 4 seasons, and they also did the show, another spin-off show. And I feel like they really understand this whole reality world, and they know to play off of each other, and they know they're just having fun. We saw a little bit more of this when Dr. Terry Dubrow gets some filler. I thought about you as well, because that was just an interesting scene, because he's getting that filler, and you don't really see a lot of people do this on camera, A, and B, men do it on camera, and they're just being so open that, you know what, this is what happens, your skin deflates, this is what we're doing. Were you happy that they were showing this on camera?
Yes, I was.
Why is that?
One, women don't want you to know, because everybody wants to be like, oh, I'm just the genetics. It's not genetics for, I would say, 98% of, like, everyone. J-Lo looked great. J-Lo looks great, okay? It's not just genetics.
Right.
Like, you're keeping up with things. And the best do it so you won't even know. You know, as you're aging, they're just doing such minor adjustments that you're staying almost the same. I mean, of course she goes to the gym and she eats healthy and she's doing all the right things on her end, but it's not just genetics.
So she's definitely using fillers, is what you're saying.
I'm not gonna say that she's definitely using Botox, 100%.
Okay.
I would say that she probably has used some under eye filler, or potentially, you know, maybe not Voluma in her cheeks, maybe Juvet, or maybe something a little softer to just, again, she might not even be using a whole syringe, or she might not even be using that. There are a lot of techniques that tighten the skin. There's all therapy. There's a lot of things you can be doing that maybe you're not adding to your body, but I think it's great that he did that, and I think it's great that he did as a man doing it, because guys, they age better than women, I think, but why not if you're not comfortable? Like, I think that it's almost like too feminine or frowned upon if a man takes care of himself at that level, and I think it's great.
Yeah, I think so too. That's what I really enjoyed about this scene, is that it was entertaining, but also it's getting rid of that stigma that everyone on Instagram is like, they look so amazing, and just being honest with, well, this is the reason why, and these are the tools, and you can do it too, which I thought was really cool. What I thought was surprising is that Dr. Nassif was like getting super squeamish when his whole job is to cut nose open.
Right. Like, how does that make you feel squeamish and you cut noses open? That was weird.
For me is seeing you like hammer someone's face.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Do you think that was real, or do you think that they set that up for him to be? Because
I think it was real.
You think
but I
it was real?
also
I
feel
don't
like
know.
when they are doing surgery, you're not seeing. Everything's covered, so you're really just looking at the part that you're performing surgery on. I think it'd be different if they had the whole face open and they're doing surgery. Or I don't know.
Maybe it was
almost
just the needle. He gets
Yeah.
weird about needles. He was
Yeah.
very
I don't
so
know.
strange.
so much so that he walked away and didn't even get it done.
That's true.
That's so funny.
But do you think he's had stuff done? Because his face does
think he
not
does
move.
Botox.
Yeah, for sure.
So he can't be that afraid of needles, if I'm
Right.
being honest. Well, anyways, you guys leave us a comment. Tell us what you think about filler, and if or not they've gotten. And also later on in the episode, we're gonna have a special segment about a celebrity and her filler experience. Before then, let's just finish off with Leslie. So her surgery was overall successful. She wanted big breasts just because of her frame, and she is big, and usually they don't really recommend. She had, I think it was 800 cc's, which is something that they don't recommend, but they went for it, and she seemed super happy. They have a joint bridal.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah, I think it was a bridal, I think,
Bachelorette
bachelor party. Yeah, she looks
Bachelor
great.
She looks
She
super
really
happy.
looked. Yes,
she looked
did.
happy.
Yeah, the
I
family
wouldn't
looked
say
happy.
She looked great.
Oh, why won't you say she looked
why?
Her
great?
boobs are too big.
You think
Really?
so?
I do. Do you guys not?
I thought they
you-
were right for her frame.
I feel like when you're looking at her in that dress, like when she was doing the, and this is just my personal, everyone has a preference. I feel like when you're overly busty like that, I think honestly it added weight to her. I think it made her look heavier. I mean, yes, before she was very deflated up here, but it gave her more.
Do you think even the
structure?
dress though was probably tight and it just looked like she was bigger than she really was?
Nope.
No, you think okay?
I think it was. I mean, I don't know why I'm holding my hands like this, but that's a lot of re-added weight and volume, and I think it made her look a little bit fuller.
Yeah.
For not being, I feel like if you're gonna have be very top heavy, you need to, and again, personal opinion, keep your body pretty cut. And while she did, she works out and she
Does
competes and
bodybuilding.
stuff,
Right, body.
there's a difference between having that body when you're basically naked and being able to tell the difference, and dressing for having a large breast and then also still maintaining a shape, because I think it almost looked like just a big blob to me more than a defined body shape. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, overall, I mean, she
As long as
She
she's
looked happy.
happy,
Yeah, she
great.
really
As
did
long
look
as-
happy.
And everything
her
was-
husband looked happy, or
Right.
fiance
Right,
looked
right.
happy.
Yeah,
He
let's
looked-
talk a little bit about him. He was,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed him. He was very sweet because he wasn't there for the cameras. He wasn't making, sometimes we see these partners trying to
Right.
steal the spotlight. He was
Right.
very in the corner, reserved.
Yes.
The only time we saw him talk is when he said that, you know what, I really don't think she should be doing this or go bigger, but I do see like her eyes like light up,
Right.
and that makes me happy.
Yes, that was sweet.
Cute.
I
Can we
want a
take a
man
moment
like
for that? I was like,
Yes.
All nine of there,
Yes.
take a moment for that. That's what we want.
Yeah, very, very sweet. Our last patient is Stacy, who has a nose that's been smashed and bashed. She has had 4 accidents, and she's had 4 surgeries, and 14 surgeries, and this will be her 15th. This was crazy. I cannot imagine how much her nose has endured. Had you ever heard her story like this, Ab?
No.
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 Yeah.
I've never heard
Me
of
neither.
That was crazy. And
Yeah.
it made me squeamish. I'm just thinking about the bridge of my nose being broken that many times, and like even tapping it, I'm like,
Right?
crazy. It's
Yeah.
wild. And I was shocked because I thought in the beginning that they might not operate.
Same here.
really
Yeah,
did.
I didn't think they were
Yeah.
going to operate
Yeah.
either. And then this poor woman, because every time she had an accident, it just always related to her nose. It was
Right.
like she got no break. It was like, okay, one
She
year
got a
gets
lot
to
of
accident.
breaks. No,
Good one.
just
Good one. Yeah, I just felt so sorry for her. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, poor woman. I don't think they're gonna go through with this. And then surprisingly,
Yeah. It was surprising, but I do have to say, I feel like she was a little nitpicky because if the
right before she went in.
but even in general, the doctors are so surprised that she's had that many surgeries because it's one thing to have your nose broken and get it fixed, but she kept on being like, you know what, I want to tweak it, I want to redefine it, redo it, and going a bunch of times.
Right.
That's why, and the doctors were shocked. They were saying, I don't understand why there's no one that said don't do this anymore.
right.
She was never satisfied, but yet it seems like, you know, it's like a scab. You keep scratching
And I
at
feel
it.
it's like she was not satisfied, but every time she went in, it was very minor adjustments, and it's like you really want to go under the anesthesia for something that minor. Like
Right.
it just didn't.
Yeah,
No, it didn't make sense.
yeah. And but you were saying, yeah, during the surgery, she was, even before going in, she's negotiating and she wants the perfect nose, and the doctor was like, no, that's not happening. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Right.
What were your thoughts about how
I'm
was
so
he too
glad
severe?
he was straightforward
You were
and
glad.
honest with her. I was so happy. I'm like, thank you. Like, because there's other doctors who don't do that. They're like, yeah, sure, we can do that. And then they wake up and they're like, what the heck is this?
Right.
You know?
I feel like they almost give you an overly pessimistic view so that you're coming out of it like, oh my gosh, like not saying it's going to be ugly or anything, but like, hey, we might not be able to do this.
Right. That's what they
And
actually
then they
said.
come out
Yeah.
and they've done it. It might not be to the extent that originally was in the mind, but when you tell someone, hey, this might not happen at all, then you're happy with whatever is,
Yeah.
is
Right.
the outcome, you know?
And that's a good like business philosophy, no
agree.
matter what. It's,
I
you know,
agree.
under promise and over deliver always.
I love that. It's good
I agree.
psychological tactic.
Right.
There you go. You see, that's what we do at Bosch at AfterBuzz TV. But I mean, overall,
It looked great.
It looked great. Before it looking great, though, how squeamish were you when they were showing that close up of the nose? And it was a lot because they had to really rebuild that nose from scratch, grab
Yes.
cartilage from everywhere, put that in, and they were moving that nose around.
Yes, to rebuild the tip. The tip looked great,
It
by the
did.
way. I did like the tip of the nose.
Yeah, I did too, but that was one of those moments. I'm like, how are you squeamish with needles when you're just
When you're like moving someone's nose around their face.
Oh, it was too much. It was a little too much. I love this show, and I know this is part of the show, but somehow I just still season 4. I'm still not all about it. But she was all about her nose. She was pumped. She was really happy. And what were you guys' thoughts? What do you think about the results?
I was happy with it. I think she needs to sit down and just
Enjoy.
maybe like wear a splint on it when she drives. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, could you imagine if something else happened?
Oh
I
my
know.
gosh.
It's
like,
game over, sweetie.
yeah.
It's just going to be like whatever it is.
I hope her nose doesn't fall off. I mean, I'm not
Right?
trying to be negative or anything.
Can you
That's
imagine?
Just, yeah. I mean, well, no, I can't, but.
She needs to be
Yeah,
like
she
wrapped
does-
in bubble wrap.
Right.
And the
yes.
weirdest thing is that she's not even into like sports or extreme sports or
No.
nothing. She's
I mean,
just
well,
hella clumsy.
I mean, she teaches people how to horseback ride, but horseback riding
That's
is
actually you're right.
100%.
Right.
They rear up and their neck is in your face.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. That's such a great point. That is,
Right.
you know, horseback riding can be really dangerous.
Really,
Like,
do you
I've
think she
injured
should
myself
stop?
so much? I mean, people die, break arms, like
Paralyzed and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think she should retire?
well, it's part of who she is. Like she helps.
also. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, go for it.
I just had a thought. She's helping, you know, people with disabilities. You never know, even just coming into play with that, if someone just lashes out or you know, has an uncontrolled sudden movement. I mean, she really. I'm not saying change your life, but be aware of,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can't even imagine what would happen if she got hurt again.
Yeah, she needs to be super careful.
She does.
Before we wrap up about her, one thing I thought was interesting is that she brought her friend who were like for 35 years, they've been friends with her, and they were really sweet and were really supportive. At the end of the episode, I don't know if you guys caught that, she was saying, "Oh, I'm doing the big reveal. My husband never watches me ride, but he's coming today, so I'm very excited." And so I was like, oh, so yeah, your husband, you're talking about your husband. We never really there's 2 men there. I never really got to see who was the husband. He didn't come to you with the consultation. So does this guy not want to be on camera, or is he not a supportive husband?
I'm going to be a positive thinker and just say he just didn't want to be on camera.
Okay. That's all.
Yeah.
Fair.
I'm
That's
going to be
understandable.
optimistic
Yeah.
about it.
I'm going to say that, but I think not coming to watch you ride is I don't want to say it's not being supportive because it's really boring for people who don't want to or don't understand what you're doing or, you know, don't have the same passion. I wouldn't want to go like watch someone play piano all day. Yes, the sound, the music, and even at least you're benefiting from music there. Like I'm not gonna want to go watch my dude do karate. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe if he was competing, sure. We don't know that she competes. If it's just for pleasure, I think you know your husband doesn't go watch you do yoga. Yeah. I mean, maybe he does, but like you know, so I wouldn't go that far. But at the same time, like. I don't know why she said it like that.
That's why I thought it was really weird. It got
weird.
me. I was like, that is strange. Because, I don't know, I feel like it's throwing something out there. Maybe I'm reaching. I don't know. But before we wrap up this breakdown, my last question was, if you were to be on the show, would you want your husband next to you? Or would you not really care?
I would just want them there with their mouths closed. Like, just be there. Visibly supportive. We don't need to hear your thoughts on it because I'm going to do what I want to do regardless. You know, that can be behind the scenes.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a big deal for me either. So
I think I agree. Do you guys have any last thoughts before we finish our breakdown and head into our special segment?
Yeah, so the actual reveal of Stacy, who we were just discussing, the reactions from the family, it just didn't seem like they were like, oh my God, it was just really, and even her daughters, it was just kind of like, oh, okay.
Listen.
You know, like,
I mean,
let's look at it from this perspective.
Thank you. Break it down for us.
God,
Break it down.
Mom's going in for her 15th surgery.
Okay, you got a point.
Same thing actually with the husband.
Yeah.
My wife wants her nose done again. Like, it's almost like a boy who cried wolf, except 15
That's a good point. I just thought
surgeries.
because this was being televised,
Right.
you know, they would just have a little more excitement and support for her.
Right.
So I just thought that was interesting. I'm like, oh, they're really, but I get what you're saying, you know.
Yeah,
so,
that's a great
That's a
point.
really good
It's
point.
like been there, done that
Right.
15 times.
Right.
That's crazy. And then on top of it, maybe they're just not really great actors because if we're being honest, that's their mom. That was what, I think it was 6 months later, 6 weeks later.
6 weeks later, yeah.
There's no way she hasn't seen her family in 6 weeks. She lives
Right.
with them.
That's
So
true.
they've seen it, and now the cameras are there, and they're trying to do this nice wrap up for the show.
Right.
Like, and they're
I'm
probably
just saying,
don't wanna
I
be
feel
there.
like they just for the
Yeah.
effects of it. I'm just
You're like,
saying it would have
take
been more
5?
exciting, right?
Oh, Mom!
Yeah, they could have, but maybe
I get it.
maybe they tried and it
Yeah.
didn't work. But we're running out of time. We only have a little short time left, but we're gonna head into our special
Yes,
news
pulling it up.
segment for us that Abigail has ready for us.
Ooh, that's a nice kiss.
So
Why is it a kiss? Tell us all about it.
I love kisses. No. So Kylie Jenner, we all know and love, and she's gonna be a billionaire next year. Dope. Recently this week too, obviously articles came out about her, and one of them was she posted a picture on Instagram, and one of her followers was like, "Why do you look like the old Kylie?" And she's like, "Oh, I took all my filler out."
And then it was just
And
from
then it
there
was just game
news
over,
everywhere.
and I just was like, all right. So, what do you guys think of the look?
I'm all team natural.
Yeah.
I've always been team natural. I can appreciate it. I just don't. For me personally, I don't know how sincere she is about this. I don't know how long she's going to keep this up because before she did this and when she initially got the fillers, before she actually admitted that she had fillers, you know, she had us. Well, I knew those weren't her natural lips before she actually finally admitted to the world. Oh, you guys, I got fillers, and once
Do you
everybody
remember
else.
when she did that thing where she's like, "Oh, I lined my lips."
Yes, that was. I'm like, really?
Line your lips. Look at your profile.
Thank
They're
you.
Out there.
Like
What?
seriously, no. But I like the natural look.
Mm-hmm.
Again, for me personally, I don't think she's going to keep this up.
Yeah, well, the thing is that they don't seem like they used to be. They still seem rather big. So my question to you is it because she's gotten can you get so much filler for so many years that your lips kind of, even if the filler goes away, they still kind of are that?
So there's a lot of things about this that bothered me. Obviously, part of her persona is to just be very glam and start trends or increase trends, whatever. I'm so down with the fact that this, and also we have to take into context, she's seen a lot without makeup, like in photos that are taken by paparazzi and things, but a lot of times the photos on her Instagram are she's fully made up. Even if she doesn't have a full face of makeup, she has something on her lips. So I have the photo, I think it's up. Is it on the screen? I don't know. I sent a photo to shows. Maybe, hopefully, it will pop up.
Yeah,
on
it's
there.
For our audio listeners, a side by side of her
It's a
before
side
and
by
now.
side, and in the side by side, her lips really are a very similar size. The only difference is she has liner on in the first one, but the actual volume looks very similar, especially in her upper lip. So with her saying that she got her filler removed, or I took all my filler out, I believe were her exact words.
Right.
There's two things that could have happened. Filler in your lips typically only lasts 6 months to a year. She was pregnant for 9 months. She's also breastfeeding. There is no data that says you can't do filler when you're pregnant. It's mostly hyaluronic acid based, so your body already has that. So it's not dangerous, but most places opt to not put the filler in when you're pregnant for, just to be safer for the baby. So either she hasn't kept up with the filler, and now it's obviously decreased, her body's processed it out, or she had a hyaluronidase injection, which dissolves the filler. Even with the hyaluronidase, or even with the filler being dissolved, you still are going to have little particles of that filler in your lips. Yeah, it might go away after a long period of time, but you also have scarring. And so if you're thinking, she's had her lips this large for what, years?
Yeah.
Every time you inject, you're creating micro scars in your lips. So she's maybe gotten them every 6 months for the last, that's a lot of scarring, and not in a bad way scarring where we see it, but it also is going to build up your lip as well. So I think two things. I think that she didn't actually get it dissolved, or maybe she did a little bit of hyaluronidase to even out how it is dissolving. I think she's going to continue to use filler. I think it's just going to be a smaller amount. Her lips were lines before. That will never happen again. She will never go back to that again. So to tell people that she completely has her filler gone is a lie. And you didn't take all your filler out of your face. It's still in your face.
Just not on your lips.
Just not as much in your lips.
Wow.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Well, thank you so much for
Yes,
giving
thank
us
you.
that little
Yes.
Natural looks
breakdown.
great, by the way. I prefer this look.
The natural.
For
Okay.
sure.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
I think
The
she
natural.
looks,
The
she
fake
looks
natural.
Right.
the fake natural. Yeah, thank you so much for that. I think I think
Yeah.
it's very important to let people know what really is going on and what's really, because you don't want to fall in the trap of like, oh wow, I need
Some
to
people
look
are
like
like, oh
that.
my god, her lips look that good, and that's just her natural lips.
Right.
No.
And that's
Oh, let
how
me
I
go
need to
and
look
do that.
like,
Yeah.
and there's
Right.
just so much pressure. Ugh. Anyways, we could talk about this for so much longer, but unfortunately we're out of time. But it's okay. We'll be back here next week. In the meantime, where can everybody follow you guys? Nycole.
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at The Real Nycole, and that's Nycole with a Y.
Wow. How about you, my darling?
Guys, thanks for allowing me to come in a little late today. You guys can follow me on all social media at Abigail_AF, and you can listen to my semi-weekly podcast, OGAF, on iTunes and SoundCloud.
Wow, super exciting. You can follow me on Instagram at Bonjour Juliet. I'm also doing the Cult and Extreme Beliefs after show on AFTERBUZZ TV. It's on our reality channel, so make sure to check that out. And we will see you next week. Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Catch you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.